The San Jose Sharks have bought out Marc-Edouard Vlasic, and we're here to break it down on Teal Town, USA. You know where to find us. You know us. You love us. You can find us on all the platforms, the YouTube, the X, the Insta, the Facebook, all the above. And I'm joined with AJ. What's up, buddy? We haven't done a show together in a while.
Been some time.
It's been a hot minute, and Jules was all packed up, ready to go to San Jose, and then the Sharks decided to make a ballsy move, I guess I can call it. I don't know.
Quizzical? Questionable?
Quizzical? I get it, but I don't, if that makes sense.
I'm right there with you. If it's, I guess, to free up, I should say, a roster spot. Okay. Financially, I don't get it.
The penalty isn't that bad. I think they save money this year, and then next year there's like a around $2 million penalty.
Well, it's according to Pishelka, it says this move will save the Sharks 2.3 under the cap for next season.
Okay.
Although the team already had tens of millions in cap space. And then the following season, like they're only going to have to, they're only on the hook for like 1.3. And we all know the cap is going up more than that. So I understand it from that perspective. The only other way I can understand this is if Vlasic went to Greer and said, "Hey, bud, buy me out. I gotta take one last shot to try to catch on at the league minimum somewhere else."
I love Vlasic, but I honestly low-key feel like this is just also a move just to get Vlasic a cup, because the Sharks are not winning a cup anytime where Vlasic is going to be able to play hockey, right?
But doesn't that beg the question, what serious contending team wants to sign a 38-year-old?
Well, that's also the thing, right? It's like, I don't think the Florida Panthers are out here going to want to sign Marc-Edouard Vlasic, right? And that's nothing against Vlasic. It's just like, you look at what he's done the last few seasons. Yeah, he had some flashy moments, but he was also injured for a lot of it, or healthy scratched on the worst team in the league.
Right? My point. So, the Dallases, the Floridas, the Tampas, the Vegases,
Imagine he goes to Vegas.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
After Hurdle gets shipped out. Right?
After Hurdle gets shipped out, he goes to Vegas.
I don't get this move other than it's Vlasic said something, or for whatever reason they're looking for one other roster spot.
They might be looking for another roster spot, and I think that's the most likely outcome of all this, because the blue line is low-key clogged up, and you look at the young guys the Sharks have coming up, like a Dickinson and a Mukhamadullin. It does open up a roster spot for them to take it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I see what Dave is saying. It says no one's going to take on Vlasic's salary even at 50 retained, but someone will pick him up at the league minimum. Will a contender bring him on for the league minimum is my point. Like at this point, this is literally your last kick at the can. He's not going to sign with, Anaheim.
So looking at the Sharks Puckpedia page is quite the adventure, right? Because Logan Couture's out, right? The only players they have signed next year are Tyler Toffoli, Barclay Goodrow, Celebrini, and Smith. That's it.
I would argue that Goodrow.
Oh, sorry, and Askarov.
And I would argue that Goodrow shouldn't be on there.
Yeah. And then, none of their blue line is signed. And I think this is simply a move to clear up a spot for a Jack Thompson, for a Shakir, for a Sam Dickinson, who we heard what Greer said at the press conference is going to make the jump. I just did not think they'd actually have the balls to make this move.
What if this is just 3 or 18D chess, and this is because Greer knows the Sharks are getting Schaefer tomorrow?
AJ, don't get my hopes up like that.
That's the reason.
It's like that it comes out. Well, okay, the timing though?
A little quizzical, but and again, maybe that points to Vlasic saying, "Bud, get me out of here."
But who the fuck is going to sign him? Love you, Vlasic. Love you to death. I understand why you don't want to wait 3 years or whatever until the Sharks are back in the playoffs and whatnot. But
And
like, I just don't know what contending team is going to be like. Ah, yes, we want a 38-year-old.
right? Or you know what? Maybe because I mean, look, Vlasic, I don't think there's a question that, Chief wants to win, but he's also been a very solid soldier over the years, was vastly underpaid early on and then vastly overpaid towards the end. But dude has always had a Jones to play for the Canadiens.
Yeah,
What if he's like, hey, man, get me out of here. I just want to go home and play my last season from Montreal. Like, it's like, I know I'm not getting a cup, but at least I can wear my favorite sweater for one season. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
no.
who knows?
Vlasic to the Cuda win the Calder. Oh Jesus. The team statement tells me it's not a mutual decision. On what side?
Really?
Let me. I fully
I
did read Shang's statement. Not Shang. Mike Greer's. Jeez, not Shang. Mike Greer's statement.
Well, it says this was a difficult decision to make today with how much Mark has meant to the San Jose organization for 19 years. I was fortunate enough to be here with Mark for his first season with the Sharks and knew he would become a great defenseman. Over the course of his career in the NHL, Vlasic was one of the premier shutdown defensemen, earning tough defensive assignments on the ice against the best players in the world and doing it effectively. And, well, the rest of it, okay, with over 13K games in the NHL, he brought immense expertise and experience to the organization daily, was selected to represent his country on multiple occasions at the highest level. He will go down as one of the best defensemen in franchise history and one of the best players. So, I mean, I don't know what is, it's that whole thing where it's like that's a lot of words to not say.
It's basically just saying thanks, Vlasic, and that's it. Like, it's a lot of word mumble, right? It's like word soup, right? Where GMs will say a lot, but not actually say a lot, right?
Well, it's the first line. This was a difficult decision to make, and I'm just kind of like, for who?
It sounds like for the organization.
Yeah, so maybe Vlasic didn't come along, or like I would think
the timing is also just really funny.
Timing isn't, the fact that it's the day before the draft, but because how long has the window been open now? Like 3 or 4 days?
Like a while now.
Yeah,
it's been a hot minute.
Yeah,
unless I'm completely wrong and someone can yell at me.
Yeah, but you would think that if this was going to happen, that it seems interesting to wait until now, but
speculation.
Like I said, they know they're getting Schaefer now, so
they might. Greer's got to have something up his sleeve, or I'm still going. Dude, we're all going crazy right now. It's okay. It's that time of year. Yeah, I mean, I would assume Greer has something up his sleeve. Like he doesn't have anyone signed until fucking next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that I don't understand. I look forward to the media call.
I'd be very interested in that.
Yeah, like there at some point you would think there's. I mean, you would at least hope, because if something doesn't happen this afternoon, like I'd be surprised if we don't get an email here like in the next hour that says, oh, Greer's going to do a half an hour this afternoon. But the other thing is, like, how are you going to fit that in? You literally have guys in a war room right now putting the board together for tomorrow. A lot of figuring out a lot of what if factors. Are they going to get Vlasic on to do a media hit? It's a very small window of time to try to get through this. And if not, it's going to be brought up tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, I do want to address this. What are your thoughts on the Chicago fans pretending and telling GM to... I think Ferndale might be taken by the San Jose, but I still think it's Misa.
It is so... This whole thing has been funny yet exhausting, because it's like every clip or article or pod that you look at, it's, if the Sharks don't take Misa, they're idiots. He is by far, like Craig Button did like his final thing yesterday or whatever, and it was like, no, Misa's going to San Jose. It would be ludicrous not, he is the best forward. That's who you take in that position. And then, you read some of, oh my God. And I think it was Jay Fresh Hockey who generally is looked upon as being somewhat respected, and he has Misa, I think, going to Hagen's going to the Isles and Schaefer going to the Sharks. And I'm like,
that's the Sharks' dream scenario right there.
Yeah. And I
like, you want them to take Hagens or Misa at one, right? Because,
yeah,
you get Schaefer.
Either way, I was just like, in what world is Hagen's going before Misa? But either way,
a few mocks are starting to have Frendell there, and mock drafts are mock drafts, right? But
and I'm so with Sleepy Mofo, dude. I cannot wait until this draft is over, dude. I can't wait until we're to like the 4th of July. Like, we're beyond the prospect scrimmage, and we can just like breathe for a little bit.
It's just the Vlasic bite. And where's that comment? Kathy making a good point. I mean, GM Mike Gray didn't say how long he's been thinking about. Again, the timing is really off to me. I don't care that you had like 4 days. Like, yes, I know it's probably a difficult decision to make, but also like right before the draft. Or like right before there's like Ekblad and everyone else is kind of, and we know the no tampering means tampering, right? You know that like a lot of these GMs have already have their contracts just, right up in it, right?
Before we jump back into the Vlasic thing, I do want to say it was somebody had like such it was just one of the best satire posts I've ever seen on Reddit, and it was them analyzing the Mike Greer media call from
so
Tuesday.
Are Blackhawks fans. Like, they literally were like, can we hire a professional body reader or whatever it's called?
Well, no, but the thing that was so great was it was like, well, when Greer was talking about Misa, he used the word nice 3 times, and he spent 18 seconds talking about this. But when asked about Frondell, he spent 56 seconds talking about that. Like, it was such great satire, and just kind of like I just loved how that satire was so great, because there's just so many people who overanalyze shit.
So I'm now going to ask you, we're 1 day away from the draft. The Sharks are on the clock. Who are they picking? What does your gut say?
At 2, you mean?
2, yeah.
Best player available.
Misa?
Yeah.
You still think they go BPA? Or like, you still think they go Misa after everything that's been apparently rumored to be in the rumor mill?
If Schaefer isn't available, yes.
There you go. You heard it here, folks. AJ Strong still thinks Misa's going to the Sharks.
Well, it's the it's the whole thing of Occam's razor. It's the it's the most probable outcome. Could they go off the board? Of course. Could McDavid be traded to Anaheim tomorrow? Sure, it could happen.
Oh yeah. Bringing up a good point here. There's no one left from the 2016 Cup run. Wait, yeah. There's no one left from that team. Couture's retired.
Technically, Logan's still on the roster.
True. Correct.
It's technical, but
Hurdle might be traded again, so that's really funny to me. Sorry, I had to bring that up.
And I tweeted out that Vlasic is the last one to wear the original crest.
Yeah.
He's a guy from that era, and I mean, over his time, I will never forget. When it comes to like Vlasic memories, there was a series against, I believe, and it was, God, am I thinking, was it the Avalanche? Actually, I may be conflating him with Hannon. Now that I'm thinking about it. But I remember there were some games against, supposed to be the top flight guys, whether it was in that era of, I don't know, like a Sakic or a Peter Forsberg or whatever, that those guys would not score when Vlasic was out there.
Yeah. I mean, he was arguably the best shutdown defenseman in the league for quite a long time, right? Like, him and Justin Braun were like arguably the best shutdown pair in the league, right? You look at that 2016 Cup run the Sharks went on, like, he shut down the Blues' top line,
and
all of those guys.
And I think, funnily enough, I think 2 Sharks defenders are the perfect example and illustration of why we need another trophy. Erik Karlsson, win all those Norrises, buddy. Win them all. But Vlasic, he should have at least once won a Defenseman of the Year trophy. And you've got a bunch of trophies for forwards. You only have the one for defensemen, and that's wrong.
Yeah, I think there absolutely should be like a defensive defenseman award, whatever you want to call it, right? How many would Jacob Slavin win? Like Jacob Slavin should get way more love than he does get, but he's a defensive defenseman. He won't necessarily put up the insane stats that a Brent Burns or a Carlson will, but
and we have a bevy of analytics today. Some people will sit there and go, well, how do you try to quantify that statistically on giving Vlasic an award? And I would sit there and kind of debate, well, let's look at the people that he played against, and the talent that he played against that didn't get off any shots. Their shooting percentage went way down when they were against Vlasic. Like, there are measurements that can be taken into account there, but that's hey, maybe something for the next CBA.
Chris, are you mean Goodrow played games in that cup run season? Okay, yeah, so maybe Goodrow's the one guy. But yeah, I mean Vlasic for a while was like the most underrated player, but also like
Goodrow didn't play in the playoffs though.
Goodrow, yeah, 16. I don't think he played in playoffs. I think he played regular season games.
Yeah, so I think that
he was a rookie, like very young back then. I know you don't like covering this, but there's a Byram trade possibly to a West Coast team. If it's San Jose, what would be your return? That's also the interesting thing. Like, you look at what JJ Peterka fetched Buffalo yesterday, and you're like, what the fuck is Buffalo doing? Like, I don't know if you saw the JJ Peterka trade. It's not that good for Buffalo, in my opinion.
Buffalo gonna Buffalo. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Buffalo gonna Buffalo. You heard it here, folks.
On one hand, like, I feel bad for fans in Buffalo. I mean, because like the Sabres, they haven't been in the playoffs in like 15 years or something. And
yeah.
And then you look at their football team, who, man, did they try to create hope and just dash that. Good Lord.
I mean, that JJ Peterka trade, I'm sorry. Like, yes, you got, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Josh Doan and Michael Kesselring. But like, love Michael Kesselring. He is not a JJ Peterka, right? He's maybe a top 4D man. JJ Peterka's should have been a Shark top line winger, right? And very young, still is an elite goal scorer. So yeah, I mean, the Sharks could be, dude, there's probably another move to this, because this, again, the timing of this is just weird as shish kebabs.
I mean, if they're going after Byram, I mean, okay, but it's yet another, like for me, because Byram is certainly the right age at 24, but the thing that gets it for me is all I keep hearing about is right hand D, RD,
yeah.
And Byram's left. So
he can play both, though. He's played on the right a lot.
But I'm there with you. It's just
I get that you want a pure right-handed D, and maybe they'll draft one, Blake Fiddler, to the Sharks. Okay. Anyways, anything else you want to add about Vlasic here?
Well, I mean, 19 years, just nothing to sneeze at. Silver stick guy. Just, you have to credit him for just sticking it out this long. And the guy, he not the flashiest dude. Very kind of lunchbox mentality, came to work, got it done, could have some, I want to say probably choice words for some of the officials. I don't know
100%.
that there's a Shark that has gotten more, like, this is a question for Darren Stevens. I don't know that there is a Shark that has received more like 10-minute penalties or like misconducts at the end of a game than Vlasic. I don't know that anybody has taken more penalty minutes for words than Marc-Edouard Vlasic.
Yeah.
Which means he must just have like one of the most biting words that have ever been heard by officials. To get tossed for something you said, that's got to be heavy duty. I would love for him to have been mic'd up during some of those things, because it's like, God, like to get tossed for something you said, like, God damn, tell me what it was at least.
Yeah, he did have a lot of those moments. I'll open a pickle jar in Vlasic's honor today. Everyone should open a pickle jar for Vlasic's honor today.
As we all should. I almost feel like we should have like a jar of Vlasic pickles in the background tomorrow for the show.
Absolutely. Well, with Vlasic's buyout, we are the youngest team in the league. Probably.
I would hope so. I mean,
I would assume so at this point. Who the fuck do we have left?
Well, I was going to say, you got to think that Vlasic and Couture are really fucking up the curve on that. So, with them being out, if you pull Vlasic and Couture out of that curve, yeah, I would hope the Sharks are the youngest team.
I mean, like, again, they have like 4 players signed next year. Like the Sharks don't even have a full starting 5 signed for next year. Can we take a moment and just process that?
That's incredible.
Like, talk about a clean slate. Mike Greer, you have the cleanest slate in all the fucking league right now, buddy. Don't fuck it up.
See, and again, it's something else. Like I want to be like a prop comic tomorrow on the show and just literally bring a blank canvas.
Literally.
And go, your
build
roster
your dream
for next
team.
season. Yeah. Here's your roster for next season. What do you think?
Sharks roster is now a daycare. Yeah, Tyler Toffoli's the babysitter. Oh, I'm scared of what AJ is gonna. Yeah, Bennett, I think, is staying in Florida. Bennett, knowing Florida, they're gonna get all 3 of those guys, and everyone's gonna be pissed off. So
I have next season's roster already framed.
What?
Isn't that amazing?
It's beautiful. Who's your top line, AJ?
Let's see here.
Blank and blank and blank and blank. Like, no, but like, seriously, who the fuck do the Sharks have? Like, in 26-27, Tyler Toffoli, Macklin Celebrini are the Will Smith, the only forwards and Barclay Goodrow. The only forwards signed. You have 1 player signed in the year 27-28, and guess who that is?
Goodrow.
No, Toffoli.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still wondering why Goodrow's here.
We are all wondering why Goodrow's here.
Yeah, I still do not understand that move. Was that like a future considerations thing? Like what? I don't get that at all.
I
was, I also want to, at the start of the season, we should get some, the whole put money on the board thing. We should get some bets going for next season. We can just hang in the background that says like over under games that Goodrow is scratched next season.
Oh, I'm hitting the over on that.
Yeah.
Oh, like even this season, who the fuck do they have signed on forward? 1, 2. Okay, yeah, they have a few guys actually. Okay, I lied.
But like if you think about it, like you always hear about the core 4 in Toronto, right? And it's like I can picture Mike Greer going, to have 4 players, that would be nice.
To have people signed, that would be nice.
Right?
Again, this Vlasic thing is just, in my opinion, yes, it's them doing a solid. Yes, it's Mike Greer clearing up something. But I don't think he just does this to do this, if that makes sense, if there wasn't subsequent things to follow.
Yeah, again, because you're not saving any significant money.
You're just clearing up a roster spot. That's really all you're doing, right?
You're either clearing up a spot for something, or Vlasic said, hey, bud, I want to go play in Montreal for a year.
It really can only be those 2 options. I don't see another path here.
Yeah, and I don't, for all the people that, that say, well, maybe Vlasic tries to, get a PTO with a contender or something like that. That's fine. That's all well and good. I'm just trying to figure out, if you're a team that's challenging, if you're a contender, I don't see how Vlasic fits into your plan at all, because it's like at least a 40-year-old Burns, you could still deploy him like as a power play.
Should we bring him back?
Yeah, right.
Should we bring him back?
Sure, if he wants to play for league minimum.
That's why we bought out Vlasic, is to bring back
Burns. You heard it here first.
Imagine.
Yeah. Oh my God. And Carlson. We're bringing them both back.
We're bringing them both. We're running the whole team back from like 2019-20.
But Burns, I can understand because at least he can still like run the
a
power play.
Yeah.
You know, you can deploy him in special situations. It would work out. He's still, that dude's a freak of nature athletically. He can, still give you a solid 10, 12 a night. I wouldn't have, honestly, I'd rather have Burns on this team right now than Vlasic. But it's a tough call. But either way, Burns available, Vlasic available. Who are you taking if you're a contender? Honestly,
Burns.
Yeah. No, Kane's in Vancouver. That's a done deal.
That trade also was so stupid. Anyways,
talk about wanting to get a guy out of it. Have you noticed that Kane just continues to seemingly wear out his welcome? I wonder why.
Have you noticed that Vancouver had locker room issues with JT Miller and then decided to solve those locker room issues by bringing in Evander fucking Kane?
Yeah. Solve the issues by bringing in an issue. Love it.
Love it.
Oh, what's this? Simpcast. I wonder if they'd trade Vlasic for Carey Price. Well, obviously they can't trade him now.
They can't trade him now, but that would have been
interesting because
that's a move and a half.
Yeah, that's some 3D, 4D chess because, at least you help the Sharks get to the floor. And it depends on, what Montreal wants to throw at you for doing it. But, yeah, that would have been – that would have had the entire league going, what the fuck?
Well, Vancouver won the Calder Cup and then just severely decided to take a steep decline in everything management. So this is why the CUDA can't win the Calder Cup, because once they win the Calder Cup, everything's going to fucking shit. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah,
Vancouver's going to tank. Oh, my God.
That was a choice.
Plan build mainly through the draft, going to see spot fillers and maybe one pinpointed guy like Toffoli. I guess it looks like Greer is really just trying to build a team through a draft, and I don't blame him, right? Like
I
respect
respect it. You gotta do it.
Respect, like, look at this clean slate. Like, makes you think, and that's why if they do take Frendel tomorrow, and I'm not saying they will. I'm not defending the move. I like Frendel. I had him the highest ranked on my board, but at least with Teal Town. But
How many boards do you have?
Several boards. Free
right.
agency board. No, I'm joking. I have all the boards, AJ. No, but like I could see it, right? Because you are looking to build a team, and Frendel's a different type of player. He's different than Celebrini, where Celebrini's a lot more offensively gifted, flashy like, and Frendel's not super flashy, but like he is a tank. He's built like a monster. The Sharks don't really have that right now.
Well,
it'd be hard I would not agree on passing up on Misa, but there's logic in that.
See, and I'm with Sempcast on this.
Yeah, like that's the other thing, right? Misa's exceptional. Let's not fuck this up.
But. And I read somebody else that had like a great comment, like, why are we trying to galaxy brain this?
Because it's the Sharks.
Well, no, I don't think it's so much the Sharks. I think it's not the Sharks. I think the Sharks know exactly who the hell they want.
You think it's the media?
It's the media. It's the fans that are looking for shit to talk about during a week where there's just not a lot to talk about. But I said it the other day on the show, like for 10 years they had 70 picks and only Ferraro is still here. So I respect Greer trying to turn that whole thing around. But it makes you question why there are still a couple people that are part of the Sharks organization in the drafting department.
Burr?
Yeah. But,
sorry, but yeah, him.
Yeah. But
no,
to your point, I mean, you look, it's these...
There's another mock draft that already had Frendel, by the way, just to
of course
throw salt in the wound right now.
But to your point, the just looking at this roster, I mean, there's only a couple players signed beyond next year, but the blue line, how are you going to overhaul this blue line? Because of the names that are on there, Ferraro, Liljegren, Desjardins, how do you say Desharnais? What
it's like your favorite Danoye.
Yeah.
There it is.
Thrun, Mukamadulin, Ruda, Thompson. I mean, let's be honest. Who out of those names are going to be here in a year for any reason?
None of them. Yeah, I'm still not convinced Ferrar's not getting traded.
Yeah,
like this offseason.
If you have to look at two of those names to say those are the two that are going to be here next year, I'm thinking it's probably going to be the two youngest ones, Mukamadulin and Thompson.
Yeah. Chris, to answer your question, yes, it is David Badowski, who the most violent player in the draft according to Elite Prospects. So he is a Shark.
And also, the thing that gives Thompson, a leg up is that. Yep, exactly.
I think I really like Thompson. He was kind of an underrated pickup in that whole Duclair trade. Look, it's going to be fascinating. You're going to see our faces a lot this week and during free agency because this dumbass decided to do a live stream during free agency. So I'll be here for like hours on end.
I will not.
Yeah, no. The Sharks will sign someone and then you'll be like, let me in.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, if it's like Erik Karlsson, yeah, I'm going to have some things to say.
The Sharks are trading. Breaking news: the Sharks are trading.
Could you imagine?
I think we're not helping the whole.
Either way, though, I do appreciate the fact that, like, I was, I think everybody is well aware of my feelings towards Erik Karlsson, and I just like that since he has left the Sharks organization, there have been little drips and drops of information that go to what I was complaining about. All of that, there was something not too long ago about him wanting, the Pittsburgh Penguins wanting to move on from him, and there was a quote that said, he's really not coachable. He's going to do what he wants, and you just have to figure out how to deploy him so that works for you. And I was just like, man, feel like something I said like 5 years ago, but okay. and I got, reamed for it, but it's fine.
No, you're gonna get reamed for everything, buddy.
Of course.
It's the way. Apparently Sharks are interested in Dobson. Yeah, that's fun. And that's a fit, right? D. Especially
I've been hearing that all week too.
Listen, this is the week of rumors, speculations, and driving Jules insane with the Frundell Misa stuff.
I like the word innuendo.
Yeah, and I will say this, AJ, if I'm wrong, let me know. The Sharks took Will Smith out to dinner. The Sharks took Celebrini out to dinner. The Sharks took Misa out to dinner. Typically, the guys they draft, they take out to dinner, and they did not take Frundell out to dinner. There's my resting case.
No, yeah, but they
took out 4 mystery guys, but it was confirmed that it was not Frundell. Now, someone could have been lying, but from what I read, it was confirmed Frundell wasn't the other 2 mystery prospects that they took out to dinner.
But wasn't the other one, I think, wasn't it like Daniel?
No, it was Schaefer. They took Misa and Schaefer out to dinner.
I would want to dive into that a little bit more because I would have swore I heard another name.
Yeah, there was 4 guys total. The 2 that were confirmed were Misa, Schaefer. The other 2 are not confirmed, but apparently someone
confirmed that it wasn't.
It was not like a list of prospects that I don't remember. I think it was Shane who put it out there. So,
but to be fair, maybe that's the misdirection. They don't take Frundell out because they know they're taking it. See, I love doing this speculation bullshit, it evidently gets clicks.
They interviewed Frundell. Yeah, they interviewed like 70 prospects. Like taking them out to dinner.
Romancing them a little, if you will,
romancing them. Jeez, AJ, they're 18
I know, but it's like we got to take them out to dinner. It's like, okay, who are the Sharks giving their rose to tomorrow?
Ricky, thank you for calming down. Yeah, that's my bet. It's probably one of the guys. I never knew. Okay, the thing is, if they were to take out to dinner, probably I could see them taking out to dinner guys they're looking, or they're trying to trade up. More speculation.
Well, I mean, you think about it. Depending if someone is there, wouldn't it make sense to move 30 and 33 if you want to get to 11 or something like that? What did they trade to get up to Dickinson?
14 and 42.
So, to my point, if they're, if you want to trade 30 and 33 to move up to say 14 or 15, if someone's willing to make that deal, and I think Vancouver's picking around 15. If somebody slides,
you can grab him.
Yeah, and maybe Vancouver's like, well, we just got Evander Kane. We don't need that guy. So, boom, maybe we see that. I think that is more likely to happen than the Sharks getting Frundell at 2.
I'm sorry. Hold up. I don't know if this is true or not, and I don't want to spread misinformation, but I just got to address this, the JJ Peterka thing. Apparently, Saravalli just said Kyrou was available for Peterka. No way. Fuck off. What is Buffalo doing? That pisses me off. Sorry. Anyways.
They're becoming the Oakland Athletics of hockey. They just don't care. Hold on. Ricky says, AJ, it doesn't make sense to move up this draft at all. 22 to 40 is basically the same tier of player. I agree with you, but again, there are, all the scouts and drafting and development guys or whatever. If they see somebody that they were looking at that for whatever reason starts to fall down the list, and if they find a dance partner that says, yeah, we'll take 30 and 33 for you to do, why wouldn't they? If both sides find it's a good deal for their clubs, they're going to do it.
I love trade season. I especially love when everyone's bored out of their minds because this draft is so fucking boring. No offense to these kids.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this 10
draft.
years from now.
Like this is low key a very boring draft.
Oh my god. Okay, Teal Curtin in here proving my point. We're galaxy braining it, like over analyzing it. It's like, he had more to say about Misa than Frondel.
I will say though, he did mention Frondel's under, like people were on, like he had a little. I'd say Frondel's answers were pretty deep. AJ, tell me if I'm wrong. It definitely felt like the choice was Misa, the way he talked about Misa.
I don't know how you wouldn't take Misa.
Like it just feels so. It doesn't feel right from everything we've heard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think with no hockey being played, it doesn't feel like the Sharks went from like consensus number 2, because I saw an article being put out right after the combine that 1 and 2 are set, and then literally 2 hours later it was like Frondel to the Sharks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but again, how much of that is clickbait? How much of that is guys stirring the pot, whether it's in an article or on a podcast, trying to just get clicks? Because that's, that really is, as much as I've enjoyed the last decade of people like us, and there's several others besides us, but fans that started putting together podcasts or websites, and you guys, you're all familiar with all the ones here, but we're not an island. This is all, we got our friends over at Let's Go Blues that have been doing their podcast for a decade. But the thing that I appreciated 10, 12, 15 years ago, before all of this, is that you didn't have all this jerking off and maybe this and maybe that and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, tall centerman gets drafted.
Breaking news, a 6'1" centerman will get drafted by the San Jose Sharks and maybe a defenseman. Find out next on Teal Town After.
So it's like, I appreciate today that there's more chatter about things, but then we run into the whole, somebody has to shout above other people with the most nonsensical thing in order for people to look at them. It's more about look at me versus having good information.
Real quick, where would Chernyshov go in this draft? High. The only thing that Chernyshov doesn't have in this draft is called being a centerman and a two-way centerman. Besides that, he would probably go where Martone in the range of that range. But anyways,
let me ask you this: does the Sharks having Chernyshov make it even more reasonable to go get Misa after what they did last season?
Yeah, because you look at Dickinson and Bouillon, right? When Dickinson and Bouillon were both on the board last year at 11, who did the Sharks pick? Dickinson. Who did he play with the year of his draft? Holtman.
So, just saying.
They like to go, and also Beasted and Havlid played together their draft year, if I'm not mistaken. And I know that wasn't necessarily a Greer's draft because he took over 3 days beforehand. But Mike Greer does like to go for pairs, and he literally even mentioned that at the end of his spiel on Misa. We saw what he did with Igor.
Let's be honest. The only way that Misa is a dead-on lock, I think it's 99.9%, but the only way he's a dead-on lock is if you played at BU.
He's going to BU next year.
Oh, well then see, it's a lock.
He's either going to Boston College or Boston University. Someone yell at me which one it is. But
so if it's if the kid's committed to Boston or what in some way, shape, or form, then it's a luck because we only draft from Boston, right? Massachusetts, baby.
Well, then our top guys are all from Boston. Will Smith from went to Boston College. Celebrini went. Thank you, Quinn. Celebrini went to Boston University. Misa Boston University. We're building the Boston team.
Exactly.
Think about it.
And and when you consider that our minor league team used to play in Worcester,
dude, it fits so well.
It's like such the circle of life.
AJ, how much do you want to bet we're gonna get off air and the Sharks are gonna make another move?
I might throw down like a solid fin on that, like I used to with Jerk.
Because I'm low key kind of stalling because I'm low key scared that the minute we go off, the Sharks are gonna. Okay, sleepy mofo, real quick, and then we'll get off. I promise. I have a feeling. I have a weird feeling that's gonna happen. I don't know why, but this Frendel shit is bullshit. Yes, every fucking reporter and its mother has said Schaefer to the Islanders, but it's draft day. Beckett Seneca won 3rd overall last year, basically 2 hours before the draft. They found out because before then it was rumored it's Ziv Buyam, it's Anton Salayev. Sorry.
No, I'm right there with you. Anything can happen, but I still go back to what is most likely to happen.
And we all get upset about this Frendel stuff. Listen,
exactly. So it's like you know what? The clickbait people, hey, mission accomplished. you
got Jules really wild up. Ask Puck Guy. I called Puck Guy basically ranting last night for 2 hours. So the Frendel thing is to confuse the Isles that Misa's not as good as he is.
Hold on though.
We're big braining this now. Okay, go ahead.
But remember, of course, last season at SAP Center during the draft party, and it's Sharks are on the clock, Jumbo's walking up there. And it's everybody at SAP. It's a low rumble, and you got Jumbo up there with this big shit-eating grin, and the Sharks are proud to take.
They're like he's extending it out,
celebrating, and everybody knew, but they still, the confetti cannons went off. Everybody's screaming their heads off, even though everybody in the room knew that's what was going to happen. Imagine the reaction of the draft party if dude comes up and says, with the number 1 pick, the Islanders are proud to select Michael Misa. The fucking Shark Tank is going to explode because they're going to be like, what? We can get Schaefer? What?
If the Islanders come out and say anything but Schaefer, the Sharks are going to. There's going to be a camera footage of Mike Greer just going like the little Grinch smile that we also always see, that GIF meme of listen.
For me, it would be that meme of oh God, who's the cat who played Hawkeye in the Avenger movies? Jeremy Renner. There's a great GIF of Jeremy Renner, like on the Tonight Show or whatever, and he just goes like this. He's like, who? And then he moves his head over. He goes, who? And then he looks back at the camera. He goes, who's that?
Here's my question for you, AJ.
That's going to be every Shark fan if they go anybody other than Schaefer at 1. Who? Who's that?
Who? Here's my question to you I was about to call you Schaefer, not Schaefer. AJ. I blame Semcast because I saw Schaefer as a
Shay J. I'll be Shay J.
Do you think there's smoke around Frendel because the Sharks have a trade in place already with the Blackhawks that if Schaefer doesn't go 1, they just trade down to 3 with the Blackhawks and get assets for him? Because that's another thing that people have been galaxy braining. Like if, let's say, it's all goes as planned, Schaefer's off the board. The Sharks are apparently not super high on Mies. If that's the whatever rumor, then they trade back with Chicago, get a right-handed D that Chicago has plenty of, a young right-handed D, and then they end up drafting Frendel at 3. How would you feel about that? I'm making AJ think. I didn't give him any warning. I was asking him this question.
So wait a minute. Tell me what the Sharks get again.
They would trade down from 2 to 3, but they would acquire a Kevin Korchinski or something like a young Chicago good defenseman plus the 3 and whatever. Like it'd be 3 plus one of the Chicago's young good right D defensemen. That way Chicago gets Misa. Frendell ends up being a Shark, and apparently they're super high on him anyways. So.
I don't know that I would have much of like, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Now, I'm not.
This is just speculation, by the way. I'm just throwing out a scenario.
And I get that because we're just trying to get people to click on right now.
Yeah. We have 96. It's working.
I'm in the shallow pool with all of I'm in the shallow end of the pool for all of the knowledge on this stuff. You're in the deep end. My thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, is Frendell more of a bigger bodied frame guy?
They're the same guy. They're the same height. Frendell's just built like a tank.
See,
like he's already a man, quote unquote.
And considering, I'm by no way saying or implying that Celebrini or Smith are frail by any stretch, but they aren't Marlowe. They aren't Thornton. Those were, they
big
haven't,
boys.
They haven't grown into that man-sized body. So having a Frendell there to maybe, kind of throw the body a little bit while scoring,
he has a good shot also.
Yeah. From what I understand, he's got a cannon, and he played. There are some people, and granted, I don't know how full of shit they are, but there are some people that said that Frendell's opposition or competition this past season was at a higher level than Misa.
He was playing against men.
Yeah.
That's really the
excelling.
Big thing. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying if that was in place, like the Sharks are going to still get what seems to be a pretty solid player and a defensive, piece. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Frendell, so yes, he's gotten the Barkov comparison, but he's also had the same track of drafting as Barkov did. Barkov was ranked 4 and 5 by a lot of scouts heading into it, and then all of a sudden he jumped to 2 come draft day by the Panthers.
I liked Ricky's comment above that one.
Yeah.
Says, the difference is like Tavares and Kopitar. And if you're telling me that Frendell is Kopitar, then now I'm starting to go, fuck, maybe we should be taking Frendell instead of Misa. I shouldn't have said we. That's I got to get out of that. It's not we, it's the Sharks.
This is my point. Like, if the Sharks really wanted Frendell, they could keep it quiet, knowing Chicago wants Misa bad. They could trade back one spot. The thing is, they might already have a trade. Like, this is all speculation, right? And in 32 hours, AJ and I can look like absolute idiots when the Sharks just take Misa and we all move on with life, right?
To be fair, in 32 hours, I'm going to probably look like an idiot, no matter what.
Well, yes, you're going to say something dumb, but you're going to say when Desnoyers gets drafted. I kind of want the Sharks to take Desnoyers just so you have to pronounce that name for the next 15 plus years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be great. We're back to the analyzing body language of Greer. Okay, anyways, I've somehow managed to get this. 101 people, 103 people watching. Clickbait works, guys.
Well, hold on. What's Sempcast?
Sempcast?
Up there.
Where, this one?
Yeah, Misa's ceiling is massive. Frendell out of the box might be better for 3 to 5 years, but I worry flames out. So, I mean, that's also a solid point too, that Frendell might be ready to make the jump faster, but long term, Misa's the better asset.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be very tough.
And I can't wait.
Hold on, JD interviewed Greer. When was this?
When
the hell did that happen?
Oh, you mean like the media one?
Yeah, you're talking like that one question that he asked during the media call?
It did sound like Misa was the guy, except every other Blackhawks fan was like, he did not sound enthusiastic about Michael Misa.
Galaxy brain.
Also, with the 105 of you watching, we will be back live again for the draft show tomorrow, going live at 3-something, 3:30, 3:45. Find out. Stay tuned. Have that post notifications on. Well, we have a ton of things lined up, and then we have our draft show. Then we have our draft recap Sunday night. AJ will not be a part of that. I don't think he wants to do a draft recap.
No.
At 7 p.m. Sunday night. So stay tuned for that. Also, it's going to be me, Ian, and Mark. So your 3 favorite humans. I'm joking. And then on Tuesday, I will be here probably flying solo. We'll see. Maybe I'll bully a few people to hop on with me at some point. But
free agent frenzy, I'm fucking down.
For like the free agent frenzy live stream.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably AJ and I on Tuesday. We'll be here
at least
talking
for a little bit.
For a little, yeah, talking shit. Probably. Maybe I'll throw in the bet that I owe AJ that I have to do because I still owe him that.
I like Simpcast. That would be denying for AJ for his whole career.
I love that. Puck Guy. Puck Guy will also at some point hop on.
Yeah, I mean, it was like last time. You tap in, you tap out.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see what the Sharks are doing. I have a feeling some bullshit's going to happen the minute I end this live show. But yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you missed it, the San Jose Sharks bought out Marc-Edouard Vlasic, and no one really knows why, except for Mike Greer probably has something cooking. And we want to thank Vlasic.
Well, no, I mean, or it could have been Vlasic said, "Get me out of here, buddy."
Yeah.
And I think Greer, to this point, has really proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that if a vet comes to him and says, "Hey, help me out here," Greer does what he can to do it.
I love that because then later on, when the Sharks are good again, that'll entice vets to come here.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have that good right. Like, I think you were the one who said this. Think about all the GMs Greer has low-key done favors for throughout the years. They got Askarov from Barry Trotz for honestly not a lot. What did the Sharks do for Barry Trotz before then? Gave them Ozzy Weisblatt basically for free. Now the guy signed with the Sharks, and I'm forgetting his name, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that has a problem with Greer. Maybe Detroit because they're still just upset at their own stupidity for giving up Wallman for nothing.
I'll never understand that move for as long as I fucking live. You want to talk about things that confuse Jules? That's one thing that confuses Jules. So with the trade for Peterka, should Greer throw out some random players while Adams is drunk? Agree. Afanaseyev, thank you. Thank you. Afanaseyev, that's the name. Okay, if you want to watch this again,
God love you.
Bless your soul, first of all. Second of all, you can find us on the YouTube and all the spots where you get the audio. Jules has to leave to San Jose soon, so I'm going to wrap this up here in a bit. Again, we have our draft show tomorrow. AJ and Puck and I will be live from the tank. Who knows? We might do a chaos cam on my face of when the Sharks are picking because last year I almost had a stroke during, Bouillon and Dickinson scenario.
And it will be quite funny if like an hour now or so.
AJ, don't jinx it.
Well, no. That news drops and then Ian has to like fire up a show for 20, 30 minutes. And then some other piece of news drops, and then like Puck Guy has to fire up. I think it'd be very funny to do 3 shows in one day because the Sharks just keep on dropping bombs.
Fuck off. Okay. Any final thoughts, AJ, before?
Well, I mean,
we just got a trade breaking.
Fuck off.
No, not for the Sharks. The Cup champ Florida Panthers have acquired Daniil Tarasov from the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's a really good. Am I like?
I feel
like Tarasov's pretty good.
Yeah, like.
Or am I just losing Pat? Are you okay? Paging Pat.
I mean, I think that's. I mean, it's what did Columbus get?
I don't know. Pierre LeBrun just tweeted it out, and I fucking called it right when I was about to end the show. A trade broke.
Oh my god. Clearly there's some people paying attention because all of a sudden I've gotten some posts on Twitter towards me that are posting Bowen Byram's stats.
Oh, actually?
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, and the funny thing is that somebody's saying Byram would be the best defenseman on the team. I mean,
that's a low bar.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's no. If we're mean girling it, there is no bar.
Well,
there is no bar to.
I'm trying to be somewhat nice here, AJ.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah. So Daniil Tarasov is off to Florida. Wow. Really solid pickup for them. I'm curious what the hell Columbus gets, and if maybe it's a cap time kind of dump move. Like who would they?
Well, and I've also been somewhat curious on a few of the moves. Like again, this buyout is curious to me strictly from a financial aspect because it makes no sense. So really it's roster spot, or as Vlasic. Are you surprised that, because this is only the second one, right? Vlasic and what was the other one? TJ Brody?
Yeah, Brody for Chicago.
So only 2 so far, and the window's been open for like half the week or the whole week or whatever it's been. Like it's been a while.
I think the cap going up helps, right?
That's my point.
Like,
and that's why we see so many people talking about how the smart play for Mitch Marner is to take like a 2-year deal at good decent money and then play your ass off for 2 years and then get the bag.
Well, that makes it interesting, right? Like, what is Eklund's contract going to look like? Does Mike Grier go for a long-term one because, or does he like immediately pay him? Or does Eklund want a shorter-term one because he knows the cap's going to skyrocket and he gets to play with Celebrini, Smith, Miso, or Frendell for the next,
When does Eki hit FA?
Well, he's up like next year. So he has one more year.
That was fucking fast.
I know. Well, the Sharks were also awful, so it didn't help. But
no, but I mean, but ooh.
Like, what do you think Eklund's contract then looks like? Because
sign him through. When's his UFA year?
I don't know. I'm not that smart, AJ.
Yeah, so 24. I want to say his UFA year might be 30-31.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
you just sign him through that.
Yeah, sign him through then. Provide, obviously, his health needs to. Let's see how his recovery is, and I appreciated that about Grier during the media call, that he was very much kind of like, look, we're not. It's funny. He was almost honest to a point or to a fault where he's like, yeah, somebody asked about the contract for Eki, and he goes, well, right now our focus on is it's getting him healthy and rehabbed and all of that stuff. And I was just like, well, yeah, we're not going to throw money at a guy in term for a guy that we don't know is going to not be able to play any longer. We need to know
sure.
how bad this happened.
It could have been way worse, though. I will say, like, Eklund, bless, got super lucky. No, I'd be interested what they give out to Eklund, right? Because he's like that first building block, right? The foundation of like what type of contracts does Mike Grier give out? Because I loved Mike Grier's honesty in the press conference.
Well, and the Sharks, as far as I know, tell me if I'm wrong, they have until this time next year to give him a deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't think there's any big hurry. And I think Grier wants to be a man of his word when he kept saying, I'm in no hurry to give out 6 and 7 year deals. But maybe running him a 5-year deal at, I don't know, what do you think he's worth? 6.5?
6.5. Yeah. I wouldn't mind a 5-year 6.5.
Yeah.
Or 5-year 6.75, something like, or 6.72, because hockey players be hockey players.
So if you give him a deal that takes him to just about UFA, I think maybe that benefits everybody.
Sorry, Ricky, we can't offer a right D, but we can offer a slightly used Mario Ferraro. Let me know what you think.
Is there anybody on this team that isn't slightly used?
Celebrini and Smith.
Well, I mean, on the back end.
No, they're all slightly used.
Yeah. Maybe Shakir. I don't know.
Shakir is interesting because they only gave him 1 year, $1 million. And Thrun is only signed to a 1 year, $1 million.
Yeah, I was going to say if both of those aren't fucking show me something, those are really show me something deals.
Liljegren's are only right shot D right now. Or sorry, and Thompson. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, we can give you a slightly used Timothy Liljegren. All right, there's still 96 people watching this. We've been on for an hour.
Fuck yeah. Hit the subscribe button, Dan.
Yeah, hit the subscribe button. Again, we have tons of content gonna be coming out here. We have tons of content coming out here in the next few days.
Tickets still available for the draft party tomorrow.
Tickets are still available in the draft party. We will be at the draft party. Come say hi. I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose where we are, AJ, but come say hi. We'll be around.
I'll say this. When you're on the floor, or if you're in the seats or whatever, just look around the concourse and look for the Teal Town USA banner, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, come say hi. We will be live tomorrow again at around 3:30, 3:45. We have a ton of fun stuff planned. We have shit to give away. Mm-hmm. I've been told.
Yep.
A lot of shit to give away. And where is the ending for this show? Well, Jules finds the ending. AJ, comment about something.
Well,
where the fuck? How do I end this?
It's fine. It's fine. But says NHL teams had until Monday at 2 p.m. to buy out player contracts. So we still have until Monday. So will we see any other Sharks? No. There's no reason to.
No.
But I'll be interested to see if we see anybody else. I still want to see offer sheets, at least one, go around the NHL. You want to see something. Buyouts, offer sheets. Oh my.
It's going to be fun. Jules can't find the ending, so we're just going to end the show this way. And again, give me a minute. In case you want to watch this again, this is going. I promise you, I know how to use this console, everyone. In case you want to watch this again, you know where to find us. And I'm ending the show like this because Jules is so smart. Anyways, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it